Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay. Let's start this from the top. This has been a symbolic of my day. I'm not feeling really well. I got a crick. I got major crick in my neck, a real pain in my neck, and I've been up since 2 o'clock this morning. And also, J. Anthony Brown is not here today, so this is going to be me and you talking news and entertainment. Hopefully, you all will participate and want to be a part of this merry little band of news junkies that many of us are. Um, it is Tuesday, and this is a day we knew it was coming. It's just so crazy. The United States Senate, the Republicans stood tall, stood unified, and like the trolls that they are, and they voted not to continue in the discussion about the election bill. So, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer took to the Senate floor moments after the Republicans voted in unison to not open debate on the Democrats' voting rights and election bill. This is for the People Act. They said this was almost a 900-page bill, saying that Schumer said the GOP opposition was indefensible and an enduring disgrace. So, as a result of the United States Senate being at 50 votes here, 50 votes here, and not having the 60 votes in order to break the filibuster, this is where we stand. And it's not likely to change in terms of any action by the United States Senate until we get to the polls next year. And that's the crux of this bill. They're making it more difficult for folks to vote. So how are we going to vote and vote them out if the states have 14 states so far have passed, and these are Republican-led states, have passed these bills in order to keep Black and brown people from voting? There's the rub. And speaking of rub, I could use that right now. But here we are. And so Chuck Schumer, it's a very sad day for Democrats because, as excited as folks were back in November, in January, this is the reality of having a completely tied United States Senate. I can't say that it's better to have the Republicans as the majority. I can't say that, but it's certainly at this tie. It's like going to a dance with your ugly cousin. It just it's not helping anybody. It's certainly not helping for the picture down the road. So he says that they have signed their names in the ledger of history alongside Donald Trump, the big lie, and voter suppression. And that's where we are. This effort to override all of these voter suppression bills around the country, now that is not going to happen. And earlier in his remarks, he also suggested that Mitch McConnell was deploying the same tactics used by Southern senators to oppose efforts surrounding the Voting Rights Act of 1965, and I don't think that's an inappropriate comparison. I think that they are absolutely taking us back to decades and decades ago, in which the white man had, the Black votes, Black people, brown people by the neck and not allowing them to vote. This really is Jim Crow 2.0, and so. This is where Chuck Schumer, as the leader of the Democratic Party in the United States Senate, has pledged to continue the fight. He said they may have prevented us from having a debate. And that was the crazy thing. This was just on the debate. They can't even get to the crux of the bill because they couldn't even get to the debate. The Republicans refused to even get to that part. This was just to get to that. And they would not allow it. So he says he wants to be very clear. The fight to protect voting rights is not over by any means. In the fight for voting rights, the vote was the starting gun, not the finish line. So I think the marching orders are out there. And as a result, you're going to see other Republicans and Democrats perhaps work together. I'm not sure, because I really thought that some of the Republicans would perhaps work together with Democrats, and especially those like Mitt Romney. Maurice on Facebook says he's been at this a long time. I suspect this was about getting all those GOPs on record as blocking it. Yep, to build support for eliminating the filibuster and for the attack ads next year. Lose a battle in order to win the war, and that is it. The war is not over, and this if this doesn't make us more determined than ever to get out there and to fight this and to register and to make sure that whatever they throw, whatever roadblock they throw out there, whether it's voter ID, whether it's bringing food and water, all that kind of stuff, gathering people. Okay, so we can't bring the ballots to the boxes. We'll find a way to get those ballots in there on time and do it by their rules and still overthrow them. Dora Levette Tiggs on Facebook says the reality is Republicans run this country. Not in my world. I know. The reality is right now, they're in the driver's seat. But if ever there was a defining moment, this is it. This is it, you guys. This is the time for us to stand up. And as I said, to not look at what they're doing, but to look forward down the road. Whatever they are, let's have our blinders on and let's just keep moving forward and moving towards next year with those primaries. This is ridiculous. Yes, Pamela Ann Thompson on Facebook. Democrats need to get rough and attack, tough and attack. Yeah, they do. And we need to get tough and to make sure that we get everyone, because here's the other thing. States like Georgia are not alone. There are going to be a lot of purging of voters. There's going to be a lot of elimination. They're going to be using all kinds of excuses to remove people from the voting rolls. We have got to stay on top of this and not let up at any time. Let's see. Nike O Tim says, I think we are in trouble when our elders are seeing us do worse than they did. Oh, that makes me so sad. But I can't give in to the negative. I feel bad enough physically. I won't allow this to cloud my mental. And if ever, I really believe, with every fiber in my being that what we started in November, what continued in January with the two Democratic senators elected from the state of Georgia, and then on into and looking past January 6th, but on to January 20th with this new administration, I really believe that we have to stand tough. We did it once, we can do it again. What is the filibuster? I'm not fully understanding it. Okay, Janet, if you check out the What You Need to Know newsletter, we also talk about the filibuster. And this is an opportunity for people, one party or another, to deny the ability to bring something to the floor. And back in the day, they used to have the filibusters or cloture. And so they would allow people from one party that wanted to deny something from coming to the floor for a vote. They would allow a member of their party to just talk and talk and talk and talk and read. You may have seen things in the past where they talked about, reading passages from Dr. Seuss or the Bible, or, reading out of the phone book, anything to keep them from bringing a bill to the floor. They couldn't even get to that point. And so that now that is the filibuster, just going on and on, days at a time back in the day. Now you kind of hand it off, or there's been a limitation put on it, that kind of thing. But it is an opportunity for people to stop the vote, to stop bringing a particular bill to the floor. And this is an old school effort by one party to still have some sort of control over the other party. There are progressives within the Democratic Party wanted to do away with the filibuster this year, and so that we could get to the meat of the issue, to bring this to the floor for a vote without, just jumping over the possibility of a filibuster, to get rid of it so that we wouldn't have this as a roadblock anymore. But some old school Democrats say, if by some chance the Republicans get back in control next year and then they don't have the filibuster, what's going to keep them from running roughshod over the Democrats even more so than they already are, by being the party of no? And so they are trying to hold on to, but a lot of folks are so desperate now and so fed up with the whole notion of the filibuster, as well as other things that are from the past. I mean, the filibuster is like what, 1700s or something like that, but 1800s. But they want to do away with it, and the old school, the new school wants to do away with the old school. Says no, because it could come back to bite the Democrats in the butt. If the Democrats don't make some things happen now, they will lose the confidence of the party and the people. Dr. K. Woods, I absolutely agree with you on YouTube. And I think that's why we just have to keep lifting each other up and fighting. You know, I really wish that I was on the bus with Black Voters Matter today on a day like this, because they're out there and encouraging people to get out there. And despite what is going on in our states, and especially in the Republican-led states, they're encouraging people to get up and to fight. Renita Bland on Facebook says, if Democrats don't use their power now, they may never have it again. And you got to. I, I agree, and it's a sad reality. We thought that we had the power, and all of this with Manchin and whether he was going to come through, and he did. He stepped up today and standing with the Democrats, but in the meantime, he doesn't want to do away with the filibuster, which is going to hold the party down. Shanta Brown says we must watch those Dems who are against the Voting Rights Act, and for the filibuster time to get them out too. Well, if you have somebody from West Virginia that's going to run as a Democrat, I'd like to know who they are, because West Virginia is truly a red state, and just the fact that that Manchin is there as a Democrat, he may not seem like he may be a dino Democrat in name only, but he is standing with the Democrats right now. If you vote him out, then you are going to see another Republican, and that's just going to weigh the party down, or to give more weight to the Republican Party. We need to vote the filibuster out and vote in and vote it back in at the end of Biden's first term. We have to be sneaky like those Republicans. I like the way you're thinking, Shanta. I really do. I like the way you're thinking. Okay, so what are you running for, Shanta? Because I will follow you. I will go and work for you and make sure that you get in office. And speaking of which, I don't know if you all saw her today, but there are efforts now of Democrats already getting into the Senate business. And Val Demings was on The View today and talking about her campaign to take down Marco Rubio in the state of Florida. So she's already started on that. We got to get in and support these people, and especially in states like Florida, in Texas. The redder they are, the more difficult it's going to be. But we have to fight. And Shanta, if you're running, let us know. What are you running for? How can we help you? As a result of, I don't know if it's a result of today's vote in the Senate in order to not allow the For the People Act to go forward, but the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has just told her colleagues she's creating a new committee to investigate the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol. This is all a part of it, to say that nothing happened, nothing more than a rowdy bunch of tourists. She is saying that at a private leadership meeting, she said that the new committee will come after Senate Republicans blocked the legislation that'll form a bipartisan independent commission. They don't want that. Donald Trump is still committed to the big lie. And the second big lie is that this was an insurrection. They don't even like the I word. But Nancy Pelosi is not letting up, and she's a hell of a leader. And I hope that people will continue to support her. Here's the thing. As much as we like to see progress, there's something about people who are steeped in tradition and know the wiles and know the sneakiness and the dirtiness and the underhandedness of Republicans. They've been there, they've done that. And so having people like that still in leadership, but also I hope that she is bringing some of the young progressives up. I know Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she gets under the skin a lot of these old school politicians politicians, but I think she and other members of the squad should be there, and including Cori Bush from St. Louis. I'm a big fan of hers, along with Ayanna Pressley, to get them involved and get them more active in the hierarchy of the Democratic leadership in Congress. All right, so that is what's going on in politics. And now that and just to reiterate, the GOP has blocked the voting rights bill. Where do we go from here? They say that this is Chuck Schumer, head of the Democrats in the Senate, says this is not over. They're still going to fight. So this brought laughter to me at about 2 o'clock this morning. That's how long I've been up today. But thousands, tens of thousands of people have signed 2 petitions to stop Jeff Bezos from returning to Earth after he takes his space orbit trip. Days after he announced that he and his brother Mark will be flying on his space tourism company's first passenger flight to space, 2 petitions launched calling to prevent him from coming back home. and at the height of Amazon Prime Day. And am I the only one that's not really finding any deals at Amazon Prime Day? By the way, I just would like to know that. One of the petitions, titled "Do Not Allow Jeff Bezos to Return to Earth." How much more succinct can you be than that? Has garnered about 40,000, more than 40,000 signatures. Billionaires should not exist. Oh, well, I don't know about this being part being true, because I'd like to be a billionaire. Billionaires should not exist on Earth or in space, but should they decide the latter, they should stay there, according to the creator of the Change.org petition. And another tens of thousands of people have signed another titled petition to not allow Jeff Bezos re-entry to Earth. Of course, he is the richest man in the world, approximately worth 200 billion with a B dollars. Actually is Lex Luthor, according to the petition, referring to the DC Comics supervillain. He's actually an evil overlord hell-bent on global domination. And we've known this for years. And they say that he has worked with the Epsteins and the Knights Templar, as well as the Freemasons, to gain control over the whole world. That's a lot of intrigue right there for you. Meanwhile, our government stands by and lets this happen. And this may be our last chance before they enable the 5G microchips and perform a mass takeover. Yeah, that's a lot. His flight into space is slated for July 20th. Happy birthday, Crystal Scruggs. And this will make him the first of the billionaire space enthusiasts to blast off. Though Virgin Galactic founder Richard Branson has reportedly weighed beating him to the punch. So he might go out there. But what they're really unhappy about, not only that he is a billionaire, but they don't like the way that he treats and pays his employees. And I bet all of them are Amazon employees like you, Tim. Right. Yeah. I wonder how many of these tens of thousands of people who have signed on to these petitions are Amazon employees, because they are not happy. Whether it's true or not, that Nike drivers, especially delivery drivers, they have to have containers in their trucks because they can't slow down to take a potty break. They have to use the containers in order to do their business in a container and keep moving. All of these things. And of course, they say that the one side says that the Amazon employees, make more than minimum wage. The other side says that is a bunch of crock, hooey, BS. And so we'll see. I mean, if you're an Amazon employee, you want to tell us what you're making, how long you've been doing it, I'd like to hear from you. The July 20th flight with Bezos, his brother Mark, and an auction winner. Now, this is the person who really needs their butt kicked. Somebody in an auction agreed to pay $28 million for a seat on this plane, on this spaceship. And one more crew member will go with them on the New Shepard Blue Origin's rocket system, which has flown more than a dozen successful uncrewed test flights. Okay, so they're taking a chance, and I'm glad his ex-wife got her money. I'm glad, and she's doing good things with it too. So we commend her. Oh, this is the story I meant to do yesterday with Huggy and Chris. So, do you remember this young man, this sad, sad story? Yes, this young man, Ronnie O'Neill, the defendant who acted as his own attorney in the Florida double murder trial. Um, Yesterday, I wanted to do the story that he admitted to killing his girlfriend. He admitted this in his closing remarks. Well, it didn't take them long to find him guilty of the double murder. First degree murder days after he shouted at the jury. And during his closing arguments, as I said, he admitted that he killed his then girlfriend, but said he did not kill their daughter. At one point, his son, he called his son to the stand, and the son, he said, what do you have to say about this? He goes, you stabbed me. The boy, his son, and how do you do that to your child? But that shows you how crazy he is. Unfortunately, here's a man who is not well, as we saw during all of the video we saw on Instagram and what have you, and in the news. So Ronnie O'Neill has been found guilty, and I don't know if there's help for him, but I hope that he does get some help wherever he is going. And do you find him guilty by reason of insanity? I'm not sure how that works with him, but this is in Florida, and the rules are different in the state of Florida. All right, so I told you that I had this crick in my neck, and it woke me up this morning, in the middle of the night, actually, about 2 o'clock, and it was excruciating. And I don't have aches and pains like that. I mean, I used to have problems with my back, but I haven't had that in years. I used to have bad knees. I don't have that anymore, thanks to yoga. But I woke up, and I think it's the way I sleep now. But although I have a great new mattress, and it vibrates and does all that kind of stuff that usually you get people in bed with you to do. But I just, and it kind of vibrates for about 30 minutes or so, and then I fall asleep. Well, this woke me up with such a vengeance at 2 o'clock. And so I started popping aspirin. And I also took some valerian root to try to make me go back to sleep. That didn't work. And I had to be up at 7, actually before 7, so I could go over the news and stuff, to share with the Erica Campbell Get Up Morning Show with Griff and TJ. Hi, you guys. I love working with you. So I got up, and I took the valerian root, I took the aspirin, and I took so much aspirin, my ears are still ringing, and it's now been over 10 hours. Oh yeah, it's been 12, 16 hours, and my ears are still ringing. So I really overdid it, I think. But I also got something. Had to run out and get something to put a gel to put on my neck, and it feels a little bit better, considerably better. I can actually do this a little bit more without, I still, and I think I need a heating pad, and I don't have that either in my new abode. So, my question for you: do you have any remedies? Do you have any suggestions for what I can do about my aching neck? And while we're at a chiropractor, yes, Shirley. Yeah, you're right, Shirley Ann. A chiropractor might be next, and because I think I am out of alignment. I'm not sure, but I really do think it has to do with the way I'm sleeping in the bed itself. Not that, when I do fall asleep, I like to stay. Shanta said, I hope you feel better. You need a body pillow. I have not had one in a while. You know what? I missed that. Yeah. Okay. Body pillow. That's the answer, Ramsey. So that's a good idea. Thank you, Shanta. I appreciate that. And that does help a lot. But do you have any old down home remedies, as Miss Dupree used to tell us about these different things, to take away your arthritis, or, I think with Miss Dupree, it was the raisins in gin, to take some raisins, put it in a glass, cover it with gin and let it sit for a while, and then you drink that, and that's supposed to help with your arthritis. Um, Yolanda Starks White told me her grandmother, her dad's mother, said in order to ward off evil spirits, you go out, you catch a frog, you cut off the frog's legs, you put it in a container, you put the frog's legs in the container under your bed, ward off evil spirits right then and there. Comme ça. So what do you think? Has that worked for you? I'm looking for, my hand's not itching, so I don't know if I should go buy lotto tickets in order to, make me feel better and take us away from all of this, to another country, away from the crazy Republicans. But if you have some home remedies, some, as Shanta said, get yourself a body pillow. I am open to all suggestions. Brian, on Facebook, even though your picture is sideways, and I think you're testing me with the neck. Brian said, try some Hennessy. I'm a clear liquor woman, but I would not be opposed to a hot toddy tonight before I go to bed. It's probably stress on all fronts. Shonda, you're right. Check your blood pressure. And I do that every day and make sure my heart is healthy. I have had to do that. And so, and I'm not handling the stress as well as I should, but I have had my blood pressure come down considerably. So, but I will continue to do that. You're right. It could just be very stressful. And so we'll see what happens with that. So thank you, Dr. Shanta. Thank you, Dr. Brian. Oh, Michelle on Facebook. Michelle Summerall says CBD cream. And I had some and I can't find it in my move. I did have some and it really worked well. I got some Arnicare and this has worked well for me in the past. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see it or not. Arnicare, that's really Arnicare. There you go. So that has helped me today a little bit, but you're right. Some hemp cream. Yep. Heat a towel up with an iron and apply it to my neck. Terrell Goggins, thank you, on Facebook. So I might just have to do that and put it, heat up a towel in the microwave and do that. And another body. Yes, Sheila Faye. Yes. Get out my business. So yeah, I appreciate that. So keep them coming as we go through this today. Keep all suggestions coming. I am open. I am open to the universe, and I'm open to all your suggestions. And they're welcomed and appreciated. All right. So what you need to know. Today's What You Need to Know newsletter, talking about what has already happened as you awakened this morning. And if you checked out your newsletter when it came in at about 5:30, 6 o'clock Central Time, we talked about the filibuster, and that was sure enough the filibuster dilemma. And sure enough, that is what has come to pass in the United States Senate. Those crafty Republicans, they held fast and strong against the Democrats and would not even bring up the debate to have a debate. They wouldn't allow that to go to the floor. So, and I did not see the vice president speak. She was supposed to speak after this vote and the failure on the part of the Democrats to get this, the For the People Act up and moving and around. I did not see. If you did see it, I'd like to hear from you. But this filibuster thing is going to be the interesting movement, and whether and as Shanta said, I think what Shanta said, let's move to remove it and then put it back in place at the end of Joe Biden's first term. And so we can see what happens. The future of the voting rights hanging in the balance as they voted today, and no longer in the balance. It's done. And we'll see what happens. Chuck Schumer says it's not over. Party not over. And so we hope that he is absolutely right, because whether they had won or had at least gotten this to the floor or not, it's just a really good indication that we just cannot lay low. We cannot be complacent. We have to step up and take some initiative in all of these things. And like our friends of Black Voters Matter are doing is they're taking this on the blackest bus in America, going up the East Coast, the Mid-Atlantic, and headed to Washington, D.C. to talk, and they have rallies along the way. I know our friend Tracy Scott was there this weekend in New Orleans and in Alabama, and was sending us information and stories back. So get involved. Please, 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 please get involved. Get your family involved. Get mom and them, all the little tots, and do like that our parents used to do us, and and go door to door and do the canvassing and all of that. Oh, hey, Ramsey. Ramsey. I think he sees a Republican at the door. Boy, Ramsey, go get those Republicans. All right, so in the coronavirus update, vaccinated NBA star Chris Paul has tested positive for COVID-19, but they're hoping that as he goes through the protocols, that he will be able to join his team of the Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference Finals before this is all over. They say that it's hopeful that he will clear the NBA health and safety protocols at some point early in the Western Conference Finals. So, and I'm really excited for Chris Paul. I'm very happy for him. I love the fact. Oh, God bless you. I love the fact that he is finding new life and new legs on the court, and I hope that he comes back. He was asymptomatic, so I hope he comes back stronger than ever. And so we wish him luck. And that is in our coronavirus update. We have coronavirus information every day. Also want you to take a look at our social justice story, and this is about the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and what he's doing as a social justice activist. He produced and narrated a documentary which premiered over the weekend on the History Channel. It's called "Fight the Power: The Movements That Changed America," and you can also go to history.com and see this. But it shows a young Kareem at 17 covering a press conference and an interview with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., also the 1967 Cleveland Summit, and it also talks about a number of other issues that are affected by this and the movements that changed America, which is in the title, talking from the 1880s to women's suffrage movements, civil rights, the LGBTQ plus, and Black Lives Matter, bringing us up to the present. So check out the captain, the man who gave us the skyhook, and also please take a look at our business section as well, and talking about lipstick sales, how they're starting to creep back up as a result of us taking our mask off, and be careful with that as well. Want to also, the wellness check is always great, and talks about what is spirulina, the little known Black history fact, which talks about the great Unita Blackwell became the first Black woman elected mayor in the state of Mississippi, and pays tribute to her, as well as the HBCU corner, and that is Tennessee State staying competitive in the gaming industry, and hats off to them and our friend Dr. Glenda Glover there as the president of Tennessee State. All right, so in entertainment, did you hear? We did not talk about this yesterday either. We had a lot of stuff going on yesterday, but we did not talk about the fact that a street has been named after the great Marvin Gaye in Detroit, which I think is fabulous. What did I do with that story? But I have it. But yes, they did. I think it was over the weekend. I think it was Saturday, in which they did name the street after Marvin Gaye. Family members were there. And it was unveiled by family members, Motown alum, as well as dignitaries. They said it was a gray, rainy day, but adding a cinematic touch to the celebration. And Marvin Gaye got his own stretch of street in Detroit. Marvin Gaye Drive was unveiled Saturday at the corner of Outer Drive and at Monica Street by the group of Detroit and Michigan dignitaries, along with members of his family. A couple hundred people were out there gathered at the dedication, where his one-time home sat as a backdrop. The backyard of the property which had been given to Gay and his wife, Anna Gordy, by Barry Gordy Jr., was the scene of the photo shoot 50 years ago that produced the iconic portrait of his What's Going On. That was the album cover. And so it was spearheaded by Detroit City Councilman Roy McAllister and approved this year by the City Council, the latest area to get a musical designation. Well, it's Motown, following street dedications for Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder, Glenn Frey, David Ruffin, amongst others. So congratulations, Marvin Gaye Drive. That is there above Outer Drive West. So good for them. And I think that is just a really nice touch. Before we end today, I also want to give a shout out to she's everybody's golden girl, Simone Biles, on the cover of Glamour magazine. Look at that. How awesome is that? With the red, white, and blue braid. And the world's greatest on Glamour magazine, they're calling her. And she is headed to the Olympics and creating more history there. The GOAT, the greatest of all times on the gymnastics team. So we look forward to that. That's coming up July 23rd is when the Olympics kicks off. So we're just about a month away. And I'm going to be watching and hopefully talking about the great stories that come out of that. One more thing I want to do, and that, of course, is to share with you our Yogi's Jewel, our daily inspiration. And we're talking about self-care this week. And self-care is not selfish. Caring only about yourself is. Okay, you get that? Self-care is not selfish. Caring only about yourself is. You hear that, Republicans? Everything comes back to what they're doing and not doing in DC. All right, you guys. I thank you for your remedies. I thank you for the hen, the body pillow, another body, all of these things, heating it up, something to give me that heating pad feel, and all of the good wishes. I appreciate you guys so much, and we will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, hopefully, I will be able to do more than this. And Stephen Hill, and of course, the great Myra J, comedian extraordinaire, will be with us tomorrow on Wednesday, and Thursday is George Wallace Day. So you guys go out there, be good to each other. I'm sorry. Oh, George, hey, how you doing? What you doing? You want to come on? We're leaving. We're cutting out a little bit early, maybe in order to start happy hour with that Hennessy. So, all right, you guys, take care. See you tomorrow. Be good.